Great. Now we can begin the meeting. We've learned over these years that technology always wins. So there we are. It is my honor to call to order the 137th annual meeting of St. Paul's. And so let us open with prayer.
Almighty and ever-living God, source of all wisdom and understanding, be present to those who take counsel in the 137th annual meeting of St. Paul's Episcopal Church, Walnut Creek, for the renewal of the mission of your church. Teach us in all things to seek first your honor and glory. Guide us to perceive what is right, and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. We had Lynn and Maureen and Richard acting as registrars for our annual meeting. Lynn, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we have a quorum.
Excellent, we have a quorum. Let us begin with the approval of, if you can see, the minutes are in the very back of your booklet, found on page 27 and 28. If I can have a motion to approve the 2025 minutes for the annual meeting. Motion from, so when you offer a motion, please just raise your hand, and then when I point to you, call out your name.
Mike Siebert, I so move.
Second?
I second. Julie Lane.
So any discussion for the 2025 minutes for the annual meeting? Thank you so much for those who took it. Molly, thank you so much. And Molly, where are you? Molly, thank you so much for making minutes again. All in favor for approval? Aye. All right, it has been approved. All right, well, let us begin with my report. Okay. I'd like to untraditionally begin my annual meeting report with a children's book. I'm not going to read the book, but I will give you a summation of it. How many of you know this book, The Invisible String? Yeah. And those who went to camp, too, remember the last camp Eucharist we had on that piece of property, I read this book. The Invisible String is about two twins who live at home with their mom and their dad. And one night, while they are at home, a huge storm, and they're sleeping in their beds, a huge storm happens. Lightning and thunder, and it was a lot of noise and ruckus, and they got scared, and they ran into mom's room, or where mom was, and says, "Can we just stay with you?" How many of you experienced this, remember doing this as a kid, right? When we get scared, even to this day, I call my mother when I'm ill. There's something there. And the mom says, we can be together even if we're not in the same room together. And the kids are like, but how can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed? And she talks about this string. She says, we are connected by a piece of string, an invisible string that connects us. And this string is made of love. And it is with you and connected with you to everywhere you love. So think about how many strings you have in your life right now. And all the many different directions our strings go. And so when the kids are at school, you can miss mom, and mom will miss you, but that string will stay connected. And it can go anywhere at any time. And the kids, of course, ask those questions that kids ask. Will it be able to reach me if I was a submarine captain deep in the ocean? Yes, Mom, even there. What if I was in France? Yes, even there. What if I were to take a spaceship and go up into the sky? Yes, even there. As a jungle explorer, yes, even there. Can the string reach me all the way to heaven? Yes, even there. Love is always strong. And the mom goes on to talk about how that love is stronger than any emotions we might have. Like we might get mad at each other, we might be angry at each other, we might do something that would upset each other, we might hit each other in the back seat, but that string will never break. And so the kids go off to bed, imagining all the incredible invisible strings out there in the world. I love this book. It reminds us that nobody is ever alone because of the invisible strings that hold us together. This book is used over and over again by pastors and therapists to help children really understand what true love and attachment is. Secure attachment. The ability to trust the connection no matter where we are, no matter how far we are separated. And this helps kids with separation anxiety so they don't panic when their parent's gone. And it teaches us that this connection exists even when we can't see it. It helps them visualize that relationship and that understanding that they know. It helps them visualize it, right? And to trust that it's there. This is really, really good for kids who are experiencing loss. It's really, really good for adults experiencing loss. I love children's books because they remind me what I need as well, fundamentally. That we are called to remember a very simple truth, no matter where we are in our life, no matter what stage of life we're in, no matter what is happening in our world, to remember the truth that you are loved, that love holds, even, or maybe especially, when things change. And we preach this every single Sunday, spiritually, as well as developmentally. Like, we need to hear this message over and over and over again. That we are the invisible string made of God's love that holds us together. Trusting what is invisible, God's presence, the Spirit's work, and that love will bind us together even if visible form shifts form. We are living in a world that is organizing itself around fear and scarcity. Everything is polarized, all or nothing, us versus them, winner takes all, if I win, you lose, hyper-individualization, I've got mine, you figure out your own. And of course, violence is just an inevitable outcome in this world. I mean, even yesterday, when we learned about Alex Preddy in Minneapolis, that ICU nurse as a protest, Renee Good, the writer, poet, mother, I mean, this is the world we live in. This is the world that when a world organizes around fear and those different all or none world, that's what it produces. God calls us to live a different way, to remember that we are connected, that we love each other, and that invisible string can organize us and lead us into a life that is so much more, with abundance and love. There's abundance when we share. There is love that is stronger than fear. That the greatest commandment is love, not self-protection, not winning, not survival at any cost. This is following Jesus in this world. Now, what it takes for a church to be nimble enough to do that work is to really lean into the understanding that the string is there even if we don't see it, even if we don't know it. That we are called to reform and transform every moment of every day. Last year, the Vestry Retreat, they worked on shared authority, vulnerability, truth-telling, and spiritual grounding as being core tenets of transformation. That if we lean into those core tenets in everything we do, in worship and preaching, in the groups that we work in the outreach groups, if we lean into those things, we can be transformed over and over and over again by the Holy Spirit. It's really, really hard because the Spirit sees the world and transforms with the world, and it continues to change. So we may live in this moment that was perfect and beautiful, and you can feel the Holy Spirit, and then you try to repeat it, and it doesn't work. Because we try to repeat it exactly as the same, without leaning into that sense of where God is calling that group to be in the moment at the time. Does this make sense to you? This year has been one of a lot of change and transformation. And I outlined a few things, but I want to highlight two in my oral report. The first is Winter Nights. I love this ministry. It is an incredible program. It's an important program in Contra Costa, where families can find shelter throughout the school year. We are a church that hosts 2 schools and Trinity Center on our campus. We're also a church who has, from the very beginning, hosted homeless families on our campus. And the year before, they said to us, we really need your help. We don't have a place for us for Christmas time. And so we did that. We said yes. Because that's what we do, right? These are families hosting homelessness at a time where we celebrate a homeless family. Of course we will. And you stepped up, St. Paul's. You cooked meals, you wrapped presents, you showed up because you knew it was important to do. It was the busiest season of the church year, and you made room when it was easier to say no. And it nearly broke us. I can see Bill laughing. It's true. It nearly broke us. Because we are doing all that we can all the time to add another layer onto it in the middle of our busiest season, in the time where we take a step back and reflect and hold in our own spaces, our own worship space. It was really, really hard. And so in January, our coordinating team sat down for honest reflection, and here's what we named. How we did it that year at Christmas just isn't sustainable. Our campus has real limitations. Winter Nights leadership at that point in time was in transition. They had just let go of their director and were searching for a new director. And they were figuring out their organizational structure. And we were exhausting ourselves to try to make it work through force of will. And so we made a hard decision, and we paused on hosting for this past year. Not because we didn't care about families experiencing homelessness, not because the work doesn't matter. We needed to stop the way we were doing it, to rethink, to think, hey, maybe our campus isn't the place to go. Maybe we need to be supporting somebody else in this work. Or maybe we need to think about that we already have a homeless shelter that is staying on our campus in winter, and maybe some energy to put towards that. What I want to say here is we practice boundaries as an act of faith. We said, not this year. We're just going to put a pause. We're not done with winter nights. We just put a pause. We recognize that the string was there, but if we continued to do it the way we were, it would get really hard to see. So we're in discernment, and we may bring it back next year in a different form, at a time in our campus when we can actually hold it in partnership rather than desperation. Of course, the work doesn't stop there. Trinity Center launched their evening shelter, a different model meeting the same need, and we have leaned into that this year. But the truth is the string still holds. It was a hard decision. We're not done with it, but the string still holds. Our commitment to sheltering families, it's still there. Our partnership with Winter Nights and Trinity Center, it's still there. Connected to our mission, still there. But the form needed to change, and that's okay. See, that's what I'm saying. We need to lean into that sense of how God is calling us into the moment, and it's going to change and look different, and that's okay, because that'll allow us to do the work that we need to do this year very well, we hope, right? In a few minutes, we're going to honor another transition that I'd like to highlight. Elizabeth Soares, and I'm going to embarrass her, has been doing the flower ministry for many, many years. And I asked her, I said, Elizabeth, how long do you think you've been doing the flower ministry? And in truth, what do we say, Elizabeth?
About 41 weeks.
Yeah, we didn't know. We couldn't remember the date. We were like, it has to have been at least 40 years. 40 years of faithful flower ministry. I know she doesn't like the limelight. I'm sorry to do this to her. And she's recognized it's time to take a step back. This is holy work. It's knowing when to transition, naming it honestly with grace. That string between us and Elizabeth and the flowers don't break. The love doesn't end. The form just changes. And Meredy, thank you so much for being willing to step up for leadership of what the Flower Guild looks like in the next few years. I won't assign 40 years to your name, don't worry. It's faithful ministry. I just want to honor the wisdom in recognizing this moment. There will be more transitions in our world. We are aging, leaders will step back, ministries will shift, and God's string holds us through every single one. This really matters because it's adaptive work that builds capacity in us. It lets us let go without fracturing. And then we can know that we hold and we do and we handle hard things together. We decide from trust, not fear. We don't collapse when one person leaves. We have energy for what's happening beyond our walls. Boy, we know that's true, right? Let me say that again. This congregation has so much energy for what is happening beyond our walls. This is a building with a secure attachment to God's work, rather than anxious attachment to familiar forms. When a world is chaotic, and we all know that it is, we don't burn our energy on that anxiety. We're going to try to see what's happening outside, witness, and hold steady. See, we're building the world. We're continuing the work that God asked us to be and do in our world here at St. Paul's. Perfect love casts out all fear. It doesn't remove the fear for us. Love asks us to move anyway, to risk vulnerability, and to stay when leaving is easier. God's work in us is tenacious, steady, and relentless, calling us towards the church we're called to be. Small enough, really. In the Bay Area, we're quite large, but I come from the South. Small enough that we each know each other's names, brave enough for the truth, connected enough to stay together when it's hard. And so what I'm asking for you, church, is to remember that invisible string that connects us to each other and God's work, the string that holds the connection. You don't have to. So following that string doesn't mean doing everything. It doesn't mean holding so tight that it makes it hard. It means trusting God's guidance towards what we actually do. Stepping in when we need to, stepping back when we need to as well. That's the work we're called to do. In closing, I'd like to just take a brief moment and give thanks for the strings that have really helped me in my life and as rector and part of St. Paul's, the staff that has come together. We're starting a new chapter by welcoming Reverend Harlow, so thank you so much for your energy, your presence, and your passion to love Jesus. We are going to be transformed by this, and we are being transformed by this, as much as we hope that our love for the world transforms you as well. Thank you. For Natalie. Natalie, you are a force of nature. I really mean that. I am a force of nature, so I only mean that in the best possible way. She sees things that is just amazing. She sees potential, and she just moves forward no matter what. They say that when a choir really understands like the spirit behind the music and the words itself, that they actually pray twice. And boy, does our choir pray twice because of your leadership. Thank you for imagining things way beyond she's able to imagine things that I can't even think is possible. And boy, you really need those people in your lives. So I give thanks for that, for your creativity, your strength, and your dedication. Thank you. Julie wasn't able to join us online today because we didn't anticipate, we figured that she might be without power. Just to give you a sense of it, my dad lives about 4 hours north of where she lives, and I know 4 hours in California with the microclimates feel like a lot, but it's not a lot on the East Coast. And my dad said yesterday it was -5, and the wind was really, really high, like 30 miles an hour. And so my dad also anticipated not having power, and I think he doesn't have power this morning. So I know that they are bundled up and ready to go for this. So extra prayers for that whole East Coast, especially Julie. She does the magic online and puts everything together, and she always is willing to call you back, chat with you, beg you for photos. That's what she wanted me to say. That in a few minutes we'll be having a slideshow with photos, and the slides are only from the photos that you have sent Julie. So if you see in there and you're like, hey, I don't remember seeing anything from Christmas this year. It's in hope that you'll send us the photos you might have on your phone even now so that we can add it. And a special thanks for Emily, who has stepped in the office to do a few things here and there. And every Thursday prints the bulletin and a list of other really, really, really random things I throw at her. So thank you so much for that. So. And my unofficial staff member, Richard Kimmick, who comes in week after week to help with the paperwork and making sure that the office runs as it runs. So many thanks for all that you do, Richard. Truly, we cannot afford the hours he puts in, so I give thanks for that he is able to do that. You're doing the work you are called to do. Not because we controlled it or imagined it or even had an action plan about it, but because we know the string that connects us to our mission, to God, and not to the particular method we are called to be in. This work continues because God's work with the people and the string made of love connects them, and it will be there year after year after year. Trust the string. Amen. Amen. I have invite our senior warden, Pete, to the podium. He asked if there's assigned seating, and if there isn't, can he be in the parish hall?
Good morning. I have a very short report. I didn't realize that Reverend Harlow and Reverend Christie would give my report for me, but my summary is 2025 was a great year for St. Paul's. We had the resources to deal with things like property corrections and repairs. We had the enthusiasm and the energy to take on challenges, and the choir leaps to mind because Natalie never chooses something easy to sing. I commend to you reading my report. The one thing I would like to add is the welcoming task force, from my perspective, is one of the most important things that we do. When we first arrived here back in the 70s, there was a guy named Chuck Kestenmacher, and he was the recruiter. He was always saying, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you participate in that or whatever? And I can only say a couple times I said yes, and that changed my relationship with St. Paul's. Fundamentally, I got more involved, I got more interested, and the rest, as they say, is history. So I would ask that you volunteer, ask that you talk to the welcoming committee and see if they can use some help, and have a great 2026. Thank you.
I would like to jump further ahead to an appreciation of interim CFO for 2025 and invite up Jerry Williams. So Jerry offered to be interim CFO in 2025, and then midway through the year, or 3/4 of the way through the year, he said, I can be your CFO. So I just wanted to take a moment and give thanks for that. And Jerry, please, let us know how the finance report looks like, how it went this last year.
Good morning. So most of you, many of you, I should say, have known me obviously for many years here and know that I've been involved in finance off and on for years here. But for those of you that are newer that don't know, I did begin this position originally clear back in the fall of 1993, did a stint in the 90s, had a break, did a stint again in the 2000s, and then took a long break of like 13 years, and then Reverend Krista asked me last year to do the interim position. So
just a little note, your string might be a rubber band.
there you go. And it goes along a little bit with what Pete was saying about, getting involved in things, because I had been here 2 years when I was first asked to get involved in finance. So, and then also to echo what Pete said, we did have an exceptional year. If you guys look at the report, for those of you that want to follow along, it's on page 25, and the far right column is the 2025 budget. And if you look at that, you can see that that our total operating income was budgeted at $697,810. The column right next to it is on the left is the 2025 actual numbers. And our operating income came in at $726,587. And then if you drop down to the bottom, you'll see, of course, our expense was budgeted. It was a balanced budget. It was budgeted at $697,810 as well. And our expenses came in under budget at $669,469, which left us with an operating surplus of $57,118. Now, carrying that forward to the budget, if you far left column is the budget for this year at $791,280, and then operating expenses, it's a balanced budget that meet that. The increase in budget from 2025 to 2026 is primarily due to the increased personnel costs associated with having Reverend Harlow. And along with that, that cost is being largely covered by a grant. Now, with regard to the income side, I do want you guys to understand that the pledge and plate income is providing, you guys are providing half the income for the operating budget in round numbers, okay? And the other part is coming through either grant or through income from property. One of the goals last year, probably you guys won't remember, but I went back and reviewed last year's annual report, and one of the goals was to do some internal audit work on fund balances in the church. And that was one of the things that, one of the reasons why Reverend Krista asked me to take this position last year, and I agreed to do it on an interim basis. Richard Kimmick, who I know most of all of you know, and Reverend Krista mentioned, he and I worked together, and we did accomplish that. We for all practical purposes, I'll just say we beat up the books, okay? And we made sure there was a transition in software from church finance software that the church had been on for many years. That transition occurred at the end of 2017, and they went to QuickBooks Online for the financial accounting part, and then they also implemented an online bill paying system at that time, and then that system syncs with QuickBooks Online. So in that process over the years, as you can only imagine, there's a lot of transactions happen here, and things can get messy. And so there was some cleanup to be done. The good news is that a lot of that cleanup went both ways. Some ways it was going to hurt our operating income, and some ways it was helping our operating income. And at the end of the day, we really did not have a significant change overall to our operating results. but we did get a lot of messiness, you know, in the accounts that had occurred over the years. We got that cleaned up. There were loans on the property next door that had restrictions to them. These were loans that had come in from, these were governmental loans, some tied, I think, to City of Walnut Creek, and I'm not sure there are others here that know more about that. What?
CBDG grant,
CBDG and CBDG?
Community Block Development.
Okay, thank you, Molly. So the restrictions on those loans were satisfied, and so they were removed from our books, and then that funded the build-out of the lower floor that we have Trinity Center in over there, and so we have that build-out now as equity in our financial statements. The other thing I wanted to highlight is that we are looking for some additional help with Finance Committee this year to help assist Richard with what he's doing, primarily to get some backup. As Reverend Krista mentioned, he puts in an enormous amount of time in this, and so when he's traveling or when something's, you know, we have a gap, I guess I'll say, and so we want some backup in this area. It will help to lessen some of his workload, and it'll also give us some additional financial security because we'll have another person involved. I do have with me, I just brought it in case somebody had a question, but we have a significant amount of cash in the parish, and most of that cash is tied to restricted funds. You know, one of the things that makes nonprofit accounting very complex is because how you donate those funds, whether you're donating them to operating or whether you're donating them to outreach or to some other restricted activity, we have to account for that and make sure that those funds are used for the purpose that the donor intended. And so in that regard, we have many restricted funds in the parish, and I do have the cash balances of all of those funds. But to give you an idea of where that is, we do have $932,000 at year end of cash in the bank. Approximately 3/4 of that is in CDs earning interest. And of that, $641,896 is in temporarily restricted funds. And those funds vary from gifts and memorials to outreach to, there is there's a grant, additional grant money for Reverend Harlow that is restricted, and there were also I missed that. There were also additional gifts that came in during the year, estate gifts. And so the total of all of those restricted funds in cash is $641,896. I might have mentioned that. If I did, I apologize for repeating. But that does leave us with an operating reserve of $290,734. So we do have a solid operating reserve. I wanted you to be aware of that. And I also wanted to mention those additional gifts that came in. So in addition to the operating, we had $100,000 come in an estate gift. We had endowment gains on our endowments of $82,078. And we had $76,093 come in for the grant for Reverend Harlow. So, yeah, It's an exceptional year. We were very, very fortunate on the financial side of the parish. So there's lots of detail that can be drilled into on an individual basis. So if you guys have any questions that are specific that you would like detail on any funds, just let me or Richard know, and we can get you that information. Any questions specific to what you're seeing, Sue?
It is not a question. It is a compliment, sir. You explain things very, very well for those of us whose expertise is not in the areas of finance, and I'm grateful.
Thank you, Sue. Ken? No?
We'll have a moment in the meeting for general questions, and if you have any finance questions at that point in time, we can take them at that point as well. Please, Harlow. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry, for explaining and for all the work. We are now going to move into highlighting a couple of the ministries that are ongoing here at St. Paul's, and the two that we are going to focus on, highlight today are the Flower Guild and the Altar Guild. So these are two ministry teams that we have that do a lot of the behind-the-scenes work that keep us going as a community. Both the Flower Guild and the Altar Guild, what they do is so central to our worship. It's central to our identity and to our community. They are doing things like making our space beautiful and kind of helping us experience the presence of God in that beauty. They are making sure that we have the gifts that we can celebrate communion every morning, making sure that to facilitate the connection that all of us enjoy with God, making sure that our worship, very literally, can keep going, that we can worship God in the way our Episcopal tradition has taught us how every single Sunday. And that work that they do behind the scenes, many of the folks on Altar Guild and Flower Guild are not standing up here with Krista and I reading or making huge announcements. Like Krista mentioned, there are people who maybe don't so much want the spotlight, but it's work that nourishes us here. We can enjoy the beauty here, we can get nourished by communion here, and that nourishment enables all of us to go out into the world and to serve God and to serve God's mission out there. So these things that we do in here, that we give to each other in here, matter so much. And also, like all ministries, they are experiencing ongoing transitions in practices and in people. And so I want to take a moment to honor the work that has been done, honor the transitions that are ongoing, and to thank people. So first, I want to thank Susan. Come up. Susan Burpee, come up. Thank you. Thank you for your leadership of Altar Guild. The Altar Guild has been experiencing changes basically since COVID.
Every 10 seconds.
Yeah, we keep throwing new things at them. We keep being like, oh, we don't have this. We need that.
I recognize what
So
you do.
thank you. Thank you for shepherding us.
You do. Go for it.
I'd like to bring
No,
up...
use your mic, please, so that we can hear you.
This is the reason I do it behind the scenes. I don't like this, standing up here. But I'd like to bring up, and there's several here of all of my team that really does the work
Stand
every
up,
Sunday.
please, stand up.
They're back there doing the
Stand up.
dishes, setting out. So all of you, come up. There's
Stand up,
Mary
stand
Ann.
up, stand
Yes,
up.
all of you, stand
Stand
up,
up.
and Barbara.
Thank you.
These ladies do immense work, especially holidays when we have Easter coming up and you have a whole week of services back on back, they work very hard. And that's my string, is these ladies of love. Thank you. And thank you for the acknowledgement.
I want to tack on a thank you to all of those ladies, and also note that anyone is always welcome to learn more about the Altar Guild and join it, and you don't have to be a woman. No. The Altar Guild is open to everybody. Good, okay. Thank you. And now I want to once again thank Elizabeth. You spearheaded, you provided flowers and headed the Flower Guild for over 40 years, countless years. Krista said it better than I could, but thank you. Wow.
Couple of things. I told the flower shop that this is for the head of the Flower Guild at St. Paul's, and she was like, "Oh." So she did it in your honor. So there you go. I have one more thing for you. This comes with a story. Harlow, can you hold this so that she doesn't have to hold this?
Yes.
This comes with a story. My friend this past year went to the Washington Cathedral, and she brought back, she's a priest like me, and she brought back for each of her priest friends a gift from Washington Cathedral for a volunteer who has done exceptional work. And so here, in appreciation of your generous and faithful service in God's work, from the cathedral. Isn't lovely? Look at that.
We have a box, too. We have a box for you to help take it home.
What big steps, right? Big shoes to fill. But Meredy, thank you so much for being part of organizing in this next year. So Meredy, come forward. Yeah, they don't like the spotlight. The Flower and Altar Guild. Of course. Yes. And thank you. All those who do the Flower Guild ministry, please stand.
Now we are going to move into our visual report of 2025 and look at all of the photos of all of our ministry this year. And just another reminder, send more photos to Julie at info@St. Paul's Walnut Creek next year, and we will include the photos in next year's highlight.
Hold on 1 second. I will restart it in full. It always does something weird. Oh.
Would like to also show appreciation for our retiring vestry members, those folks that are cycling off vestry this month. So I would first like to thank Glenn Shockley. Come up, come up. Thank you. Thank you for your years of service, both this time and previous times that you've served on vestry. It has been a joy to get to know you in those meetings and at this church. Thank you for the care and attention and prayer and everything that you have given to this parish and during your leadership on vestry. Thank you. Maureen Horton. Come up. Maureen, thank you so much for your service on vestry this go-round, and also I know you've served in the past. Thank you for your joy and your presence and your welcome. You make the meetings fun, so thank you so much.
Bill King, come on up. Bill, you have been such a joy to our vestry. Your energy, your creativity, you're pushing us forward with all the ideas that are in your head, which is amazing. A really good scientist, because he can think about all the things all at once. So I just appreciate your enthusiasm and joy and positivity that you brought to my ministry these past couple of years, especially when you've been junior warden. So here is for your vestry service, and Pete's coffee, because Pete's been senior warden while you've been junior warden, so you get some Pete's coffee. And I also have one more thing that I'd like to give you as a appreciation is that I know that your daughter has recently had a baby and you're doing lots of traveling, so I have a gift certificate for audiobooks from independent bookshops, so that as well.
Awesome.
Yes, yes. Thank you for your service. Pete, come on up. Pete's been my senior warden, not in one set of vestry years, but two sets of vestry years. His last year we were in shutdown, so I didn't really get an opportunity to thank you in person for that last stint, but especially for this stint. I really appreciate it. He is a very gifted senior warden. He is the type of guy that will sit quietly in a meeting and then lean over at the end of the meeting and just give an observation that is brilliant, forward-thinking, and positive. He also has the ability to make sure that the agenda is exactly what the agenda needs to be. So I appreciate that as well. And so for your years of service for Pete's senior warden, some Pete's coffee, right? For vestry. And then you have a gift card for taking your wife out to dinner, because it's the two of you that's made these times possible. So Original Joe's gift card for you both. And I have that. I'll give it to you later. much. All right, moving on to our next part of our agenda, which is electing our vestry for the 2027 and 2026 year. We have 4 candidates. They are found on page 5 and 6, and we are so gifted with these 4 candidates. They bring experience, time with the congregation, new perspectives. So I'm going to invite Andy, Roger, Trent, and Laura to stand. Thank you. Thank you so much for putting forward your names. I really look forward to this time together. You may be seated. All right, now for the business part of that. I will first do the vestry candidates, and then I'll switch over to the deanery candidates. So let's start with the vestry candidates. May I have a motion for the nomination of this vestry?
I so move that we nominate these folks for vestry. Sue Phelan.
Thank you, Sue Phelan. A second. Well, I'm going to get Karen. All right, is that right? So we can spread the love. Karen?
Motion, Karen Smith.
Okay. Questions, conversation, comments? All in favor? Aye. All right. Let the official comments be yay. So glad to have you on vestry. Look forward to it. And now moving to our deanery, we have a full slate for our 2026 deanery. Did you hear that correctly? Let me say that again. We have a full slate for our 2026 deanery. Our delegates, Susan, Sue, Sharon, alternates Ken, Sherry, Diana, and Dan. Please stand. Thank you for offering to serve. Yay. Please be seated. This work is so important. We have a bishop who's really, really committed to doing regional ministry, knowing that we can be together. When we're together, we do better. And so as he shapes our goals as a diocese, these are the people that are going to help implement that. So thank you so much for your work. Can I have a motion on the floor for our deanery delegates to be elected? Thank you, Ann.
So moved, Ann Benefield.
And a second?
Mark Sturgis.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Questions, discussion? All right. All in favor? Aye. All right. Both the deanery and the vestry have been elected. Yay! General questions, comments, or observations? There is a microphone in the back.
Can I just yell out?
I'll have to repeat it.
Okay, all I want to do is I want to thank all the teachers, because the kids are learning things, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
So thank you so much to our teachers for making sure that that ministry continues on. Thank you, Ann. All right. Thank you to you, Krista, for your leadership over this last year. It's greatly appreciated. We love you. Thank you. Thank you, church. Before we move on to the closing prayer, I'd like to invite the 2026 vestry to come forward. Come on up.
Both new members and
This is to trap you, actually. They have a vestry meeting that is about 10 minutes long, and if they come forward and we give the appreciation for them. One last thing that I had it in my report in bold letters, but neglected to say, our new senior warden this year. Thank you so much for offering Phil to be our new senior warden. I know he has big big footsteps to fill, but he's doing it already. We had a really, really hard moment, and it doesn't matter the details because all went well. And he made the time to come back to the church the very next day to check in on us. So I just give thanks for someone who sees that part of the ministry and supports us so that we can be better together. So thank you so much. All right, so here's my last announcement. In a few moments, I'm going to do the closing prayer, and then I'm going to invite all of you to just hang out for 10 minutes. Check in with each other. All those who are making a chili, go set up your chilies. And Pete, where are you, Pete? Did he run already? Oh, there he is. He is the man with the tickets. Now, here's how it's going to work. You're going to join us for lunch, I hope. And if you are going to join us for lunch, you're going to get a set of 5 tickets. 5 tickets. You can vote for your favorite chili. You can put all 5 in one, or you can split them evenly. You just do it the way you're going to do it. So you only get 5 unless you want to pay Pete more, and then you might get 10. Just kidding. And then we will award, at the end of the chili cook-off, some awards for the best chili. So that is all the announcements for this next stage. And so let us close in prayer. Gracious, loving God, we give thanks for our patron saint, Paul, who had the courage to change his whole life because he saw how you were changing your direction for him, and how he has become an inspiration for a church who always seeks to help the most vulnerable, to love in the best ways that we can. And I give thanks for St. Paul's, whose charism is to always reach outward, to love in the way that Walnut Creek needs them to love. And I give thanks for the strings that bind us together and make us a strong, connected, loving community. In your name we pray. Amen. All right. Walk in love as Christ loved us and gave us a sacrifice to God. Now, one more thing. Can I have an official closing of the annual meeting? Can I get a motion to officially close the 137th annual meeting? And Maureen, would you like to second it? All in favor? I'm sorry. Molly didn't hear? All right. Now hold on one second. And the count of 3, we will all clap and rejoice in the closing of the 137th annual meeting. 1, 2, 3. Yay! Annual meeting closed in affirmation. Amen.